Good morning, ladies and gents. Extremely impressive turnout for early start of this Indaba morning, so very much appreciate that. We're here today to introduce you to Sunbird Energy and take you through our projects here with our home base being in Cape Town and our opportunity to bring energy into the market here. My name's Will Barker. I'm the Managing Director of Sunbird. And we have a number of representatives both in the crowd here and over at our store in the main convention centre, so please take the opportunity to drop by and see us. Quick overview of Sunbird. Sunbird is focused on delivering a new domestic energy source in form of natural gas to this highly supply constrained and high value energy market within South Africa. Our portfolio covers both onshore unconventional projects over in the east of the country, where our Mopani CBM project has a contingent resource of over 640 BCF of gas. Our portfolio also includes the Ibabesi gas project, situated to the north of us here in Cape Town. It is South Africa's largest undeveloped gas field, with over 540 BCF of 2P reserves. To put that into perspective, a TCF of gas is enough to power a modern city of over 1 million people for 20 years. So these proven domestic reserves are of a very significant scale. The way ahead for us in 2014 is to continue with the maturing of the Ibabesi project towards commercialisation, completion of our engineering studies, and the very important commercial negotiations we have underway with customers. At the same time, we will drive our onshore exploration and appraisal programs to define more reserves and mature the CBM assets onshore towards development. Sunbird listed on the Australian Stock Exchange 2 years ago. We were formed out of a group of colleagues who worked together at an Australian company called Arrow Energy. We were taken over by Shell and PetroChina in 2010, and at that point we joined forces and went looking for new projects and teamed up with our Black Economic Empowerment partner here in South Africa in Bono Capital. We put together the assets and have had extremely good support on market over the last 2 years. And have effectively gone from a 20-cent listing share price now into the mid-30s and 40-cent mark. Into more detail on the Ibabesi gas project. It's situated in the Orange Basin, a proven gas resource region stretching right from South Africa up into Namibia. Two major fields, the Kudu field in Namibia, owned by Tullow, and then Ibabesi in South Africa, which is owned 76% by Sunbird and 24% by Petro SA, the national oil company of South Africa. The field, our licence, is contained within a very large 5,000 square kilometre production licence. There's been over $120 million spent on the project since the early 2000s. It took it from an original 1980s discovery by Sucor, the previous national oil company of South Africa, and the companies undertook the appraisal of the field to take it to a point now of a proven reserve base. There's been 11 wells drilled within our licence area for a total of 7 commercial discoveries. So extremely good success rate for what is still a frontier basin. There's over 1,700 square kilometres of 3D seismic, modern data across our field, that provides us with not only very good definition of our existing proven field, but also extensive exploration upside in the order of 5 to 8 TCF of pre-identified drilling targets for us to expand our reserve base and production from. The basin is one that's coming under more exploration focus over the last couple of years. Seen the major oil companies in Shell, Anadarko, BHP, Can India taking significant positions in the basin. We feel that we're at the forefront of development of this area, having the only proven reserves in the South African side of the basin and the ability to capture market and put the critical infrastructure in place to commercialise the whole region. Onto the energy market and what inspired us about South African gas production in the first place. It is one that is both highly constrained, a lack of investment in new generating capacity, but also one that is absolutely dominated by baseload coal-fired power. That baseload coal-fired power is predominantly generated, 80–90% of that baseload power generated in the east of the country. It has to be transmitted 1,400 kilometres across the country, leading to very significant line losses, transmission losses through the grid in the order of 10 to 20%. To help compensate for those line losses and produce the local power and the peaking power requirements needed on the west coast, they constructed both the Ancholig power plant that's situated around 50 k's north of here and the Griqua power plant situated at Mossel Bay. They are called gas-fired turbine facilities, but the reality is they don't burn gas, they burn very expensive diesel, and they burn a lot of it. Diesel consumption across those facilities has increased 270% last year and is now over 609 million litres of diesel consumption a year. That's $500 million worth of fuel. It's vital fuel, though, that provides the critical peaking power to offset the line losses and meet the demands here. Those facilities were planned to operate as peakers 2 to 4 hours a day. They're now operating up to 16 hours a day. The opportunity that we have with our proven reserve base is to replace that imported diesel product that's US price, US dollar and oil price linked with a domestic gas product. We have two key focuses for securing that market. The first one is with direct negotiations with Eskom for supply of gas into the Ancholig power plant. The next one is via the Department of Energy's tendering process for an independent power plant, with the first request for information and proposals submitted in July last year and expected to now go through to a formal tendering process around March this year. And that will be for a 474 megawatt gas-fired power plant. The options to provide that gas at the moment are either Ibebase gas or imported LNG. So we believe we're in an extremely strong position with that domestic resource base and the benefits that flow from creating a new industry to meet that market. Last year we went through a process of taking the asset through pre-feasibility work. We completed our concept select process, we undertook direct negotiations with Eskom, we booked the maiden reserves for the field and demonstrated the commercial and technical viability of this development. That culminated in us, just before Christmas last year, signing off an MOU with Eskom for the supply of gas to the Ancholig power plant. This MOU is an extremely meaningful milestone for Sunbird and for the development of the gas industry on the west coast. It will see us work with Eskom jointly to supply up to 40 petajoules of gas a year into the Ancholig facility. To get to that point, we have a number of activities that have to be taken out by both Eskom and Sunbird. Sunbird will advance the engineering studies, the environmental process, to be able to take Ibebase to an investment decision in early 2015. At the same time, Eskom will complete their technical investigations into the supply, the conversion of their facility from diesel to gas, as well as undertake their procurement process so they have the internal mechanism to execute what is a multi-billion-dollar sales agreement. Jointly, we will combine to undertake those commercial negotiations that will lead to a fully binding sales agreement that will enable us to secure the project financing and partnering that we need for what is a $1 billion-plus development. Eskom and the Ancholig power plant, it's a 1,300 megawatt facility. It is one that is able to be converted to a mid-merit basis where they will utilise Ibebase gas for 50% of the time, replacing diesel, increasing generating capacity, and doing it with a domestic resource that is up to 50% cheaper than the diesel product. The development concept to get this gas to market. Being the first development in the basin, we have the hurdle that we needed to overcome of infrastructure. This is a large infrastructure project that involves us taking our proven reserves of the 210 BCF in the first phase, then moving to 540 BCF over a 17 to 20 year life of project. The wells, initially 4 wells, but up to 9 wells in the field, will be drilled. They're simple vertical wells that take the gas up to an FPSO or a platform, strip out the oil.
General Quarries and Mines, Gécamines, is a state-owned mining company in the Democratic Republic of Congo. Its primary purpose is the prospecting, exploration and exploitation of mineral deposits, including
the Yankulik power plant is, and at Saldanha, where you have the major industrial hub of the Mittal steel facilities and all the major export iron ore and mineral processing facilities. It's around a $1.4 billion development that will lead to revenues in the order of $450 million a year over a 20-year project life. The proven reserves are occupied within less than 5% of our licence area, and as I mentioned, we have another 8 TCF of additional targets that can be expanded upon throughout the life of this project. Our aim is to complete our FEED studies this year. We could then move into, once we've secured our gas sales agreement, to an investment decision in early 15, which will deliver gas to market in late 17, early 2018. The national benefits that flow from this project are extremely significant. It provides that critical first infrastructure into a basin that the government estimates has over 22 TCF of recoverable gas. That first critical piece of infrastructure leads to the creation of a new industry, creation of jobs that are vitally needed through the Western Cape and the Northern Cape. We provide a new energy resource that's sourced from a domestic fuel, increasing energy security for the nation and providing a very cost-effective replacement for an imported fuel that has a direct impact on the nation's balance of payments, and by the creation of new industry, we lead to expansion of GDP and growth of industry through the secure source of new power. We are also 24% owned by the state. Direct royalties going to the state, direct participation from the state via PetroSA's interest. We also have the critical advantage of being a domestic resource, of being able to delink our sale gas from US dollar and from oil price linkage. Being able to predominantly base our contracts in Rand and secure Rand-based lending in South Africa means that we have a huge advantage over imported LNG and other products. Path ahead for us in summary. 2014 will see us concentrate on taking Ibabesi to commercialisation, bringing in the funding we need and the partners we need to realise a multi-billion-dollar project that has big impacts on the nation. It is the only proven reserves of a significant scale within South Africa. We have the ability to replace high-cost imported diesel. We are able to kickstart development of an entire new industry on the West Coast and lead to the expansion, both within our licence and throughout the region, of a new oil industry within the Orange Basin and the Western Cape and Saldanha region. We have proven partners in PetroSA and Eskom that are of a world class, and we believe that Ibabesi is a project that's going to lead to expansion of the industry and wonderful new energy source for this part of the world. So thank you very much for your interest.